Now this retreat is coming to a close. And the big question is always, how can I try to keep up or integrate my practice of mindfulness and the teachings of the Buddha in the daily life? Because when you come to a retreat, all the conditions are, optimized, or you might say ideal conditions for just doing the practice. You don't have to think about doing anything else. You don't, have any meetings or anything. And so, even though it's difficult, you manage to do the practice. But going on to retreat, there's an analogy of climbing a mountain. Say you lived in a place with a mountain behind the city and you never climbed the mountain before. You always thought it was too difficult. And sometimes a friend would come over and, come on, let's go climb the mountain. And you used to, say, nah, this is too much trouble, and roll over and go to sleep. But then, one day on a nice summer morning, a friend shows up, at 7 o'clock in the morning, knocks on the door, come on, it's a great day, let's go climb the mountain. So maybe as a way just to, get rid of the guy, say, okay, I'll do it. Just to get this guy to leave you alone. And so you decide, get up, and you go out the back door and you walk down the back alleyways filled with the smelling trash and, cats and dogs and rats prowling through the trash cans, and, gradually get to the base of the mountain and start climbing up. And as you get above the rooftops, air's getting a little fresher. And the sounds of the traffic honking the horns and the neighbors' boom boxes and the dogs barking, starts to get a little less intense. And so you keep climbing up a little bit higher, and every 100 yards or so you stop and look around, and you start to be able to see more of a overlay or the panorama of the city. Then finally you keep on climbing, and maybe you don't even go all the way, maybe just halfway. And there's a bench there. So you sit down and just look out. So you get a whole panorama of the whole village, the city, and the surrounding environment. Something you never saw before. Because before you used to just drive around in the street with your eyes on the ground and just following the routine streets that you took, and just doing the same mundane, repetitious things. But then with this new view, you say, oh, look over there, there's a park with shady trees and a lake and swans swimming on. I never saw that before. And so it gives you some idea. Then you say, oh, look, there's a new way to go to work, which doesn't involve going on the construction streets. Doesn't have so many stoplights, not so much traffic. Oh, and here's another way to go to, Uncle Joe's house. Again, without so much traffic. And so like that, you start to see new possibilities of a way to live and enjoy that city that you hadn't known before. But you can't stay up on the mountaintop forever. You have to go back down. And so as you start to go back down, you lose that panorama, but the memory of that park stay in your mind. Or the memory of the, there's another way to travel to work or the relative's house. And as you go back down and get down to the bottom, walk back the alley, you have to avoid stepping in a pile of doo-doo. And then you finally get back into your house, and you rush to check your email. And you kind of forget about the mountain already, and the mind is in the future again. And so you quickly get caught back up into your life. But then on a real hot day, and the electricity goes out in your house, and you're sweating and sweltering and, wondering what to do. Then all of a sudden, there's a park with the lake and shady trees in it. Let me go there. And so then maybe you go there and have an enjoyable day despite the heat. Or next time you're going to work and you're caught in that traffic jam, gridlock, you remember, there's another way to go. I saw that. And so hopefully that'll motivate you to refine those places. So it's similar with when you go home from a retreat. You may have, reached some space where you're fairly calm and relaxed and you're able to, do the Vipassana shuffle and kind of just walk mindfully, slowly and feel comfortable doing that. But very quickly you'll lose that. You'll lose that perspective. And as the mind shifts into a higher gear, you'll quickly find that that kind of mental space evaporating or closing back in, and then dominated by the I, me, and mine. A whole list of things. You've been here 9 days. How many things did you neglect that you have to do? It's about a whole shopping list of things, including checking your email, I suppose, by the first thing, that you'll do. So the problem that most people have is that they quickly lose whatever they gain in terms of mental space and a more clear mindfulness. And they tend to lose that very quickly. So the question is how can they continue to keep the practice up and not lose it? Because it's true, time is precious for people. There's not enough time in the world to get things done for most people. Although there is plenty of time, but most people think there isn't. Because they have, so many things that they do. And so the mind is always coming up with clever excuses why it should, cut your meditation practice short. And so, you have enthusiasm now, and maybe you've already made up your schedule for the next week. And you say, I'm going to do my yoga, I'm going to get up and do yoga from 5:30 to 6, and then I'm going to do my meditation from 6 to 6:45 or whatever. And maybe you do. And maybe you get another meditation in the evening. And you might do that for a few days. Or maybe longer. But then little by little, those 2 hours, 2 sessions of meditation drop to 1. And then that one, hour session, drops to 45 minutes. Then a little bit later, it drops to 20 minutes. Then it drops to even 10 minutes. One mukha bhastrika, one back bend. 5 minutes meditation. And then before you know it, you're swiggling down your last cup of coffee and racing out the front door to get the bus, and you pat the Buddha on the head and say Namo, and that's all your Dhamma practice. So some people find themselves in that predicament. So what to do? But that's the nature of our kind of fickle mind, or indisciplined mind. So ideally, from most people's experiences, meditating twice a day is sort of optimal. And I feel that meditating twice a day for shorter periods is better than meditating once a day for a longer period. Because if you meditate just once a day, you have 24 hours or 23 hours until you meditate again. And in between, generally, there's not a whole lot of mindfulness. But if that's all you figured that you can spare is, 1 hour in a day, it would be better to do a half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the evening That way you break up that long period of time. Because it's the repetition, it's the habit and the remembering, not so much how long you do a particular thing, but the habit of the frequency of doing it, which will help it stick in the mind more. But still people may find it difficult to do that. So we've come up with another practice for those types of people called M&Ms. So you know what M&Ms are, right? Small, sweet little candies. There's a Buddhist M&M. And that's a minute of mindfulness, or a minute meditation, or a mini meditation, however you want to define it. But it's a practice in which you train yourself to stop every hour for 1 minute. Could be a little bit more, a little bit less, but let's say for just 1 minute. Because most people should be able to find 1 minute that they could stop and pause. And so you let go of the future or the past, but usually it would probably be the future or whatever you're mulling over in your mind. And you come to the body. Just find your body, standing, or sitting. Remember where it is right now. And take just one 3-part breath, one slow 3-part breath. That will really zoom you right back into the body in the present moment. And to help let go of whatever was in your mind, or that kind of frenzied tenseness that you might have been carrying with you. And so you just do a 1 minute of just breathing in, standing, breathing out, standing, breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, letting go of the past and future, standing here and now. Breathing in, relaxing the body and mind. Breathing out, relaxing the body and mind. And perhaps just, look in your mind and, what was there in the last hour? And to kind of let go of that. And in that short space, if necessary, you could practice, 10 seconds of forgiveness or metta. Just may all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free from stress, anxiety, fear. Or just reflect on whatever Dhamma reflections that you can kind of muster up in that 1 minute. But the main point is simply to let go of that neurotic push into the future and just come to the present moment, try to relax and, practice some spot metta if you had anger or resentment in your mind. The idea is so you don't take that into the next hour. The idea in the practice is that you release stress and negative thoughts hour by hour, not letting them accumulate as we normally do. They accumulate the whole day long, and by the end of the day, we're a nervous wreck. We have to, stop and get a massage at the massage parlor to relax our muscles, or, stop at the bar to get a martini or something, or go to the gym or whatever. Because we've accumulated all that tension. So this is a practice in which you can release stress and tension hour by hour to keep it from building up. And so that hopefully by the end of the day, you wouldn't feel so tired. Because that's a lot of people's excuses. They're stressed out at the end of the day and they're rushing around and never really stopping and pausing. That they feel exhausted at the end of the day and they just want to jump in the bed, or they want to watch some video or just eat something and but not feel like meditating. But if you're able to practice these minute meditations through the day, then hopefully you'll have more energy, the mind will be more open and relaxed to feel like meditating. Then you can do a longer meditation. And those things will help support each other. The longer meditations, of course, will make it easier to do the minute meditations, and the minute meditations will help you meditate even better for the longer periods. In that way, you have a reoccurring frequency of reminding to come back to the present moment, to let go of the past and future, to come back to the present moment, even just for the length of 1 3-part breath. And so that's the way I found is very useful, really a way of integrating and keeping your toe in the door, as it were, the toe in the door of the mindfulness, to keep it open. And there are certain times when that would be the most effective to do. So like when you stand up, that's probably the best time to practice the M&M, is when you stand up. That's why I've been trying to train you, kind of forcing you to do that. You stand up and immediately start to walk away. Stop! Don't immediately walk away. Just stand there. Take a deep breath. Relax. Really focus. Okay, what am I going to be doing right now? And then you mindfully start doing it. So like when you finish checking your emails and you have to get up and rush out to do something else, just stand up and take a 3-part breath. And it doesn't even have to be for a minute. It could even be just for 15 seconds. But the idea is to kind of break that neurotic pushing into the future and just increasing the habit of coming back to check in, check into the present moment, to relax, because you can see the tension that you're holding in this, this push to the future. And knowing that the world will wait for you. Unless your house is on fire, your child is choking on some object, then usually other times the world will wait. Or at other times, you just put some food in the oven. You don't even have to be sitting down. You just put some food in the oven, you turn the dial to 350. Okay, just stop and stand. Take a deep 3-part breath. Just come to the present moment. When you get out of your car, you're having parked your car to go to work, go in the supermarket, you let go of the door handle. Again, just stop and take a deep breath. Maybe send out metta to all these harried people that are, running around and, dragging their kids here and there and shouting at their kids and this and that. May all these beings be well and happy. May they be free from anxiety, stress, fear. And go in to do your shopping. And kind of do a slow walking meditation in shopping. Plan that you have more time. Because then you can make these things enjoyable. You can kind of even do a 3-part breathing while walking and pushing your shopping cart. Then before you, as you're standing in front of all the cereals and you're, searching for your Kellogg's cornflakes and you're lifting, stretching, and all of a sudden a hand comes from over here and the box disappears. Anicca. So, there's ways that you can, meditate while doing these things. And then, you come back to the checkout line and you're pushing your card and you're obeying all the laws. You have, you're going to the 10 items or less and you only have 9, and so you're doing your duty. But somebody with a full cart, comes to cut in front of you, then, allow them. When you're standing there, send out metta. Instead of looking through all the People's magazines to see who Tom Cruise married this weekend or where Elvis Presley was spotted lately, you can just take some deep, slow breaths, send out metta, check your reactions, and then, proceed. So like that, there's ways that you can, even for those short minutes, that you can effectively practice, snippets of the Dhamma, snippets of mindfulness. Because time is precious, as we know, and you have to know how to milk all the available time. even if it means just 15 seconds here, 30 seconds there, a minute there. When you're walking down the street at a stoplight, or you're in your car, you just turn red, so you know that there's probably at least 15, 20 seconds of a red light. You can, take some deep, slow breaths, or just be aware of the holding the steering wheel, and send out metta to all these people that are honking their horns and other things. So, in that way, there are ways that you can practice these pauses, especially the pauses and slowing down, and just come back to acknowledge the present moment, and just to relax the mind, and knowing that we don't have to just always be wasting our time looking around, and there's always there's the parallel world going on inside of you, the parallel universe of body sensations, of just awareness. And the more frequently you do that, the more frequently and almost spontaneously the mind will get back into that state when you're not particularly doing anything pressing. And even though that sounds doable, people will forget to do it. So you have to keep on reminding yourself. To put up reminders, maybe a little note in various places you go, above the bathroom mirror, in your car, above your car, the dashboard. Or other places, just to stop, look, and listen. That's a good motto, actually. Stop, look inside, and listen to your mind. Or listen to your body. And you should see this as like brushing your teeth. Now, most people probably brush their teeth or take a bath every day, right? And why do you do that? Maybe for various reasons, but so the body doesn't smell. So you don't have an unpleasant odor for your friends or colleagues at work. Or when you smile, you don't have spinach hanging out your teeth, or green slime on your teeth, or bad breath, or even other diseases that might come. So we manage, most people manage to brush their teeth or take a bath once a day, or once every other day, or once a week. So the same way should be about our mind. We care a lot about our body, and about how our body odor might offend other people, or our body looks, but what about our mind? So the daily practice of mindfulness is the bath for our mind. It's like brushing your mind, scouring away the negative thoughts, gargling sweetness with some loving kindness, metta, so that we will feel more pleasant to others. Because sometimes people could, that the mind is more offensive than the body. A person might have body odor, but their mind might be very friendly and full of love and a very open, generous type of person. And you might be able to tolerate that. But somebody else who, is conceited and, might have a Barbie doll body or whatever, if that's their ideal. But their mind might smell of conceit and pride, or vanity, or arrogance. And you wouldn't want to be around them. So like that, we should try to see the daily meditation practice as this, in the same way as we see the brushing of the teeth and the taking the bath. That way we'll be able to fit it in. But for some reason, meditation and practice of meditation seems to take, be second fiddle to most other things, or take a back seat to other things. Here, when we register for retreats, we usually have 80 or more people sign up for the retreat. Even sometimes just a 10 days before the retreat, there might be 80 people. But then during that last 10 days, cancellations start coming in, one after the other. Oh, my cat got sick, I have to take it to the vet. My uncle, got sick, I have to go to the hospital, this and this and this and this and that. They might be, viable, events. But the thing is, the first thing that get axed is the meditation retreat. And it so easily goes. Because it's kind of somehow in the back of our mind given a low priority. Or the idea that, meditation is a selfish thing and I should practice compassion by doing these other things. But you practice compassion by being compassionate to yourself. And whatever practice you do for yourself, that's practicing compassion for others. Maybe some of you are sent here by your spouse. I know a couple people that their wife or husband is happy that they go on a retreat every year. Because when they go home, they can get along better. Dear, it's not time for another retreat. So in that way, we should try to see the importance and the value of keeping the practice up and not allowing the little least excuse to say, well, I'll skip meditation today, or I won't do this now, I'll do it later. Because remember the adage, tomorrow or the next life, we don't know which will come first. And is there still any unfinished business in your mind? That's what we should be aware of. There's still something you're clinging on to. Some either sensual attachment or some aversion or resentment. And if there is, that is the unfinished business. So we should, keep checking in and checking up and working to try to resolve that so that, for one thing, we could sleep more peacefully at night. And if that death does come unexpectedly, then we'll be able to open up and merge into that ocean of oneness. So, to officially kind of close the retreat, we're going to offer for you to take the 5 precepts. When you came here on Friday night, you took the 8 precepts. But how many people want to follow those the rest of their life? 8 precepts. Not eating after noon, not singing, dancing, watching shows. I thought so. Or your people you live with may not appreciate it too much. So we'll offer you the 5 precepts, and again, these 5 precepts are the basic standard of skillful conduct. A lot of times the precepts are called morality, but skillful conduct is probably a more accurate type of term, because it's conduct that's skillful in terms of it's in accordance with the harmony, with the law of cause and effect. It's in harmony with nature. Not to interfere with nature by telling lies, killing, stealing, abusing others, intoxicating your mind, and things like that. So, this is the fence that we put around our garden. So the precepts is like putting a fence around your garden to keep out the deer and the groundhogs from coming in to, nibble off your new vegetable buds. So as we practice our spiritual life, many lures and temptations and old friends will, they might be jealous or not wanting you to change, or even maybe some family members, and they'll, come on, on Thanksgiving or some other day, come on, have a glass of wine, have a beer, what's all these precepts, kind of loosen up, get real. And so there'll be a lot of temptations and pressure on you from people that don't, appreciate, following the precepts. But, if you give in, a lot of people ask about the precept about intoxicating. Oh, can we have just one little glass of wine? Can we have just one little beer, somebody's birthday or, for dinner? And, that might be all right for, in many instances, but what happens? You go to a party and somebody kind of pressures you and says, oh, one little beer, what's that? So you might take, one beer. One more. And you take one more and then, give me one more. And then before you know it, you're taking your clothes off, standing up on the table. But there's a new phenomenon. You might think, well, no one will invite me to parties anymore. If I don't drink, if I don't listen to music, people won't invite me to parties. But now, there's a new phenomenon happened, the sober driver, right? So that every party there should be one person that's sober to drive home. So people will start inviting you to parties in order to be the sober one to drive home. So actually you might get more social invitations. So these are just some different ways of looking at it. So, and then of course the three refuges, and then after that we put the chanting books out because there's on page, what page is it? Can somebody give me a book? What page it is in this book? No. Aspirations. Okay, page 1 in this book is the 5 precepts. And then on page 17, there is the wish, and it's sharing the merits. It's a way of sharing the merits. So whatever benefit we might have gotten from doing this week of meditation, that we're not doing it only for ourselves, but to share that, so we'll be a better person when we go back to others, and may others benefit from that practice, or we can be an inspiration, for others to maybe want to follow. But it's also an aspiration to reaffirm in your mind the path and the practice. So, in fact, as long as we were doing the forgiveness, we can also include that one, the first part. So, page 1. And we'll chant Namo Tassa Bhagavato together 3 times. And then line by line, I'll repeat the formula for the Buddhang, Dhammang, Sanghang, Saranam Gacchami. And then the 5 precepts. And then we'll turn to the other page. You don't need to take this one. So, you want to lead it? Or you can... we'll just start with the Namo Tassa Bhagavato. We can do that together. You want to put your hands like this, you can, unless you need to read it. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tisarana gamanang sampunnang. Okay, now after saying the precept in Pali, so read the English meaning on the other side. So I'll chant it in Pali myself. Try to see if you want to try to chant it in Pali and then say it in English. So it'll be said 3 times altogether. Panatipata veramani. Sikapadang samadhiyami. Adinnadana veramani. Sikapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu micchachara veramani. Sikapadang samadhiyami. Musawada veramani. Sikapadang samadhiyami. Surameraya majjapama dattana veramani. Sikapadang samadhiyami. I forgot to have you say the English meaning. So now just read all 5 in the English meaning. Maintaining well the 5 precepts together with the 3 refuges, strive on with diligence. By morality they attain good rebirth, by morality they achieve wealth, by morality they attain Nibbana. Therefore one should purify morality. You can say excellent, excellent. Okay, now turn to page 17. For those who like to, we're going to chant that in Pali because it sounds nice, but you can read the English meaning if you don't want to chant. So those who know how to chant it in Pali, then we'll chant it. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayam kamami bhante buripanya tathagata. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayam kamami dhamma sandittika akalika kayena vacha chittina pamadena maya katang achayam kamami sangha supatipannanuttara imina punyakamena upajaya gunuttara acharya-upakaracha mata pita piyamamam suryo chandi maharaja gunavanta narapicha brahma maharaja indacha lokapalacha devata yamo mitta manusacha Machata verikapicha Sambe sata sukhi hontu Punyani pakatani me Sukhanchati vidam dentu Kipam papetu vomatam Imina punyakamena Imina udisena cha kipaham sulabhecheva tanupadana chiranam ye santane hina dhamma yava nibbana to mamam nasanta sabadayeva Yata jato bhave bhave ujucitto satipanyo saleko viriyavamino maralabantuno kasam katuncha viriyesumi bundadi pavaronato Damo nato varuttamo nato pacekka sambuddho sango nato taro mamam te sottamanubhavena maroka samlabantuma imina punyakamena Mame bala samagamo satan samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattaya dukkha pata cha nidukkha bhaya pata cha nibbaya soka pata cha nisoka Hontu sabbe pipanino bhavagupadaya avicchitato etantare satakaya upapanna rupi arupi cha asanyasannino dukkha pamunchantu pusantu nimbuting sadhu sadhu sadhu. That kind of officially brings this retreat to a close. And today is going to be a dana. A dana means an almsgiving. In this instance, given by some Sri Lankan people. Actually, they're very good friends of Bhante Jinananda, who's been with us. They came from Canada and Washington, so these people are giving a dana, and on the second death anniversary of a loved one. And so it's the tradition in the Buddhist countries, especially in Sri Lanka, that people, on the anniversary of the death of loved ones, they remember them by coming to the temple and doing good works, offering dana, helping the temple in different ways, and dedicating the merit to that deceased relative, hoping that somehow they could understand what was going on or somehow benefit from the good karma of their relatives, and at least to make them happy. There'll be a little bit different kind of food than you've been used to in the last week.